roster.
This time into a beautiful Olympic slam. What's Krush got in mind here? Face crusher. Kandi Krush and Goldie Collins. Krush has her up. There it is. Lights out. Lights out. Krush has her down. Hook in the leg. 2, 3. There we go. Kandi Krush.
Here is your winner, Kandi Krush!
Hey, everybody. I am Katrina from In Cat We Trust and one of the hosts of Steph and Cat Talk Wow, the absolutely fabulous all-women's brand wrestling show. And we are here in Women's History Month. And I am so grateful and fortunate to have a super awesome guest here with me. Krush, how are you this lovely Thursday?
I'm doing great. I just got back from training. You know, I love following all of your podcasts and your wow reviews and everything. So I did see, the one regarding me a couple weeks ago. So I'm sure we're going to talk about that, but I'm happy to be here.
Super glad for you to be here as well. I was very fortunate. Well, both me and Stephanie actually were very fortunate to meet you in LA in 2022. And so hopefully we can get back there at some point and do this all again and meet you again. But it is Women's History Month. And so something both me and Stephanie appreciated about WoW, in particularly this season, was that you were a bit of a gatekeeper in season 2. You had a lot of women that you were facing that were debuting for WoW. And so how was that experience for you, like wrestling the new debuts, but also just that's a big deal to be like the keeper of WoW, especially considering you kind of started your wrestling career the season previous. And so how was that experience for you and what were some of the things you learned from that?
Yeah, I know the connotation or gatekeeper has some of a negative connotation sometimes now, but that's not how I perceive it in this situation, right? I hold the keys to WoW. I'm the gatekeeper as in I know what it takes to be on this roster. I've put in the work and I want to make sure that everybody who's stepping into our ring respects that, respects the sisterhood, respects the culture, respects how hard we go in the ring here. You know, I always say, like, you don't play boxing, you don't play wrestling. We are not here to play. And it's serious business when you get in the ring. And I respect those that came before me, talking about, women's history. And I want them to respect everybody who came before them, whether I've been in it 2 years, 20 years. I just want them to respect our entire roster. And, I'm tough as nails. I'm scrappy. I'll get in there and go toe to toe with anybody. So I'm glad that David trusted me to get in and debut these new additions to our roster. And they are tough girls too. They all come from athletic backgrounds, different athletic backgrounds like the rest of our roster. And so never underestimate your opponent when you get in the ring. But, I always say, especially if your opponent is me. So you got to earn your stripes. I had to go against really tough people. When I started, I had to go against the biggest monster of WoW. I had to go against Chainsaw time and time again. And I proved myself time and time again. So it's time for them to prove themselves against me. And that's just the way I see it. So it's all respect. I'm not keeping them from anything. I'm just showing them, hey, this is what we're all about. Welcome to WoW.
I love that answer. I would definitely agree that sometimes you just kind of have to take the bumps and kind of work your way to the top. And so one of the things we've noticed, at least in this season, where you were undefeated for quite a number of weeks. It was at one point we were kind of figuring out what was going to happen between you and even Adriana Gambino because you both were undefeated until a few weeks ago. And so I know just anytime something disappointing can happen, that's for anybody, you have, I guess, some takeaways. And so for this, again, going in really hot and you not only just winning all your matches and taking on these new ladies, but just even I feel like you had even more confidence, and you had some great confidence in season 1 too, but you had a lot of confidence kind of going in to this season as well. And so what were some takeaways from, I guess, the experience of kind of going from being undefeated to kind of trying to figure your way, what's the next step for you during this season?
Well, uh, this is where it starts to get a little muddy, and I know you have opinions. Um, but yeah, I did take 2 hard losses after that winning streak, and I was really hoping that I would be on my way towards another championship shot, a title shot. So I was disappointed. I take some of the blame. I take most of the accountability because I let myself get in my head. But part of that is I was getting in my head because I put my heart on the line and helped out one of my best friends at WoW, Princess Aussie. And then I feel like I didn't get in return the same level of support. And, I know she was busy defending her title. That's a hard place to be. But honestly, I don't know. No excuses. That's how I feel. No excuses. Make time. And I always say, like, there's 3 sides to every story, his side, her side, and the truth, or whatever. In this case, her side, and the truth. So she sees it differently than I do. And it's not that she was never there for me. We were thick as thieves. We were there for each other. I just feel like I got the short end of the stick as soon as she got the championship belt. And I'm the one who helped her get her fire back. She came into my boxing gym feeling defeated. And so regardless of anything, I feel like without me, I don't know, maybe she wouldn't have had that title. And that's just me. And I'm allowed to have my own opinion. And she's allowed to have her own too. So where we go from here, I don't know. I got frustrated. I got in my head. But now I've found a new focus, and like you said, a new confidence. I've always had Krush confidence with a K. But then, I just decided, like, I've spent a lot of my time focusing on other people, on friends, on having other people's backs. For example, after Chainsaw and I were going at it, then I had Foxy Fierce's back at a certain point, who's one of my other friends at WoW. I've had to come in and have other people's backs. When I defeated the monsters solo, I did that by myself. So while Aussie's over here talking about she got the title by herself, that's false. And so I think I deserve more credit. And so I'm going to go get my own flowers on my own. I'm going to rise the ranks now by myself, just like I did before when I came in and proved myself on WoW. So that's my personal opinion. Love it or hate it, I'm going to keep working my way up.
I respect it. I respect that. I did have some words. I did, but it's more so I'm just a girly girl. Sometimes you want to be like, wait, no, friendship would happen. And so speaking of Princess Aussie, is there something you wish could have went maybe differently that you guys wouldn't be so much as, I don't want to say completely opposing sides, but more so just kind of not seeing eye to eye? Is there anything you wish could have been done differently or that you wish was different at this time?
Yeah, I wish that I wish that she would have had more time to train with me to help me elevate my wrestling skills, or at least not only that, I mean, she did do some of that. I'm not gonna say that she didn't hold up any of her end of the deal, because we did make a deal. I help you get your fire back, you help me become a better wrestler. She's a veteran to me. But she did help me with that. But at the same time, I just wanted her to watch my matches. I asked her time and time again to watch my matches. And she says it was bad timing, that it was just she had to go and do an interview or do whatever you do that, champions are scheduled to do. I know they have a busy schedule, but I just want her to watch my matches, give me feedback. I feel like if I had gotten feedback at that time, I would have been able to stay on my winning streak. And maybe then I would be on my way to the top, so that we could keep the belt in the family, so to speak. So that if she did lose that belt to somebody, I could go and take it back, and, we could support each other along the way. She comes at me like with a lot of love still, but I just don't have time for that. I just don't have time. I am here to do a job, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, where it goes from here, I don't know. I feel like that's on her. Maybe she can make it up to me, and then maybe we'll be friends again. You're right, we're not completely on opposite ends. We're not completely at odds, but I'm just focusing on myself right now. That's it.
Understand, been there. Definitely been there. And so one of the things that especially about WoW this season, we have the trios tournament happening, but we also have like a lot of women kind of teaming up that weren't teaming up previously before, new teams kind of forming. And so you have been pretty fortunate to tag with some women in WoW from season 1 and season 2. And so is there anybody, even with some of the new debuts, that if you had to tag with, that you wouldn't mind just standing next to in a ring and kind of doing both, bringing your Kandi Krush magic and whatever this person's magic is, and just doing some awesome things in a ring?
Well, I know you saw my conversation with Gloria Glitter, and she was by far the toughest opponent I've gone up against. And I have so much respect for her. She gave me a run for my money. I've never been so tired at the end of a match. It's hard to gas me out because I'm a boxer, you know. Usually I run circles around people, gas them out and knock them out. That's my forte. She happens to have a lot of the same energy and stamina that I do. And I feel like she's the same. She gets in there and she's scrappy and she'll do whatever it takes. And she also is a veteran in the wrestling industry. So I feel like, you know, I can see a lot of myself in her, and I I would probably not have a problem getting in there and, you know, getting down and doing our job together. She's the cardio queen and I'm the KO queen. So we also have similar monikers there. So yeah, I would consider that probably if I had to choose right now. Uh Obviously before that, Princess Aussie was my favorite tag team partner of all time. And you know, I was hoping also that we could go for the tag belts. That was my first dream, kind of. It just didn't go in that direction. And again, I have no hate for Aussie as far as being a champion. I think she deserves that 1000%. She deserves to be champion. I think she deserves another title shot. But once she has that title shot, then I want mine because I deserve mine too. And you know what I mean? I'll go take that belt from anybody.
I definitely agree. Even I think before me and Steph did say you were somebody who definitely deserved a title shot properly. We definitely did say that in that regard, just because he was like, okay, sometimes there's a little bit of shenanigans that happens that I'm not necessarily happy about all the time, and might
Yeah.
cause me to rant a bit. But I
It's
definitely
fine. You know, it's all love. I have all love for you. I just have to express my feelings about, you know, what's going on with me.
no, all good. And so you did mention that you're kind of just on the new space, kind of moving towards working for yourself and doing what you need to do for you. And so, what is some of the things you've been doing to kind of prep yourself for this kind of maybe possible solo journey of kind of getting back to the title picture? Has there been anything with like a game plan you had in place to kind of just get to that goal?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've been blocking out all the noise. My blinders are on, so I haven't been really, I have love for the whole roster, but I don't have time to hang out with anybody. I've really just been focused on my craft. So leveling up, watching back tape, studying, um, just making sure that I'm prepared for whatever comes my way, because I know what I'm capable of. And I know that I'm capable of going and taking that belt one day. And like you said, a proper shot at the title, because I did have a title shot early on. I think I was a little bit too inexperienced to take that from Penelope Pink back then. But I think I have focused a lot on my mental fortitude and really just staying focused, laser focused on what I have to do, getting my job done, and just not mixing business with pleasure. Basically, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to handle my business, get in, get that win, get out, do it time and time again, and rise the ranks.
Of that. And so we are in Women's History Month, the month to celebrate all the amazing things that us as women do. But my question, I guess, regarding semi wrestling, but also semi kind of about you as well. What what are some things you've came from boxing into wrestling, which sometimes can be a transition for anybody kind of moving into another sport or another athletic type of field. And so what are some of the things you love that you was able to move from boxing into wrestling and able to do it in a place like WoW? Because I think one of the reasons why me and Stephanie like WoW so much is, again, there's so many women there that just aren't necessarily in a box. It's so different, so many different characters, so many different styles of wrestling and attitudes and personalities, and that's something we love as like women's wrestling fans. And so what are things that you're just happy that you was able to do kind of as a woman in WoW, moving from boxing to wrestling?
Well, in boxing, you know, it's kind of the same glass ceiling for women that we've experienced, where it's a traditionally a male-dominated sport. But the great thing about WoW, specifically as a wrestling platform, is that we are not the co-main event, not just the sideshow. We're the main event. So it's all women. So I don't have, like, I was respected from day one. When I walked into the boxing gym, nobody would look at me. They're like, you want to fight? Okay. Like, go over there and jump rope for an hour. Literally just ignored you. If a guy, but I could already fight. When I would go in and tell people that I was already trained, they didn't know. But when a guy would come in and maybe had no boxing skills, no discipline, no nothing, wasn't even an athlete, and said he wanted to fight, oh, okay, let's go. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, you got to prove yourself, but it shouldn't be just because you're male versus female that they approach you differently and see you differently. Especially because I think women are sometimes tougher, and you know, we will do whatever it takes to get what we want. So when I came into wrestling, I'm so happy that I stepped onto the WoW stage as my wrestling debut, because I stepped straight into a sisterhood. I stepped straight into support and somebody taking me seriously. Even at my first tryout, David McLean was like so pumped about my strength and being a boxer and all of this stuff. And it's like, wow, I am just welcome with open arms here, you know, and then they want to help elevate you and show how strong. And again, like, our roster is so diverse. So you get to learn from other women, really test my strength against other women, which to me is the ultimate test, because I spar guys, but when you go against women, we're craftier. So I think we're smarter. Sorry, I said it. It's Women's History Month, whatever. So I just think that I encounter tougher opponents in wrestling. So there's just this like elevation, being able to have harder challenges to overcome as far as tougher opponents, and then being supported by the company, by David and Selena and everybody who is, you know, backstage taking us to the top.
Oh, word. Because I definitely agree. I do think we're a lot more tougher than people think we are, and we always gotta double prove it. So I feel
Yes.
like because we go in like that, it's just automatically always kudos to us. But
Yeah.
keep it in line with Women's History Month. What is something you appreciate? I mean, I feel like we should do this all the time about ourselves. We're always sometimes could be hard on ourselves. I am about myself as well. But what are some things you appreciate about just being a woman? It can be like the most, just something that is like, oh, I'm so glad I'm a woman. Like, again, in line with Women's History Month.
Yeah. Uh, Man, there's a lot of things. I love being a woman, honestly, because there's just so many levels to it. I love being a female athlete because in the ring, I'm tough. And outside of the ring, I'm able to be vulnerable and, you know, kind of let my guard down. So there's a lot of layers and sides to me, which I think all of them together is strength. I think vulnerability is strength. And being able to express that and then inspire other people by using my own vulnerability, my own experiences, tell my stories, I think that's so powerful. And being able to, again, break the glass ceiling for those who are coming after me and having gratitude for those who have done that before me. I just think also women are just so good at embracing each other, in most cases, especially at WoW. And so every time that I've leveled up in life, it's when I'm surrounded by a strong group of like-minded women. And so I feel very lucky to have that right now in WoW. I've had that in, you know, other sports in my past. But that's where I find my strength, is in who I am and the women that are around me.
Love that. So my final question for you is, do you have any words for the women on the WoW roster?
I don't typically speak with my words. I speak with my fists and my actions in the ring when it comes to that. I mean, have words for everything, but of course I prove it in the ring is what I'm saying. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll go toe to toe with anybody. I'm always ready to go. That's why I'm the CEO of Let's Go. And another thing is that there's no need to be scared when you're skilled, and I've been working on my skills. So I'm about to come with, a brand new confidence, like you said. I had confidence before. Wait till you see my confidence now. I started with swag in the ring. Wait till you see me now. I have defeated some of the toughest opponents on the roster already. So I'm just going to bulldoze my way through the rest of the roster until I'm standing at the top. So everybody's been put on notice, but that's been since I stepped on the WoW roster. I respect everybody. I love everybody, but I'll stop at nothing to get what I want. So that's what you're about to see.
Oh yes, love it. Love it. Would you like to tell everybody where they can find and follow you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Kandi Krush _wow. And yeah, catch us on TV. We're in syndication every weekend. So go to wowie.com and type in your zip code so you can see where you can find us in your living room.
Would like to add that Pluto TV also shows some of the WoW episodes. So if you can do that as well, definitely go check out WoW. It's a super awesome show. Thank you so much, Kandi Krush, for coming in and talking with me. Again, I've been such a fan of you from season 1. Super great to be able to meet you before and hopefully to meet you again. And
Yes.
to everybody else, thank you so much for just supporting me and Stephanie on our WoW journey. We're probably one of the few who hardcore will defend how great
Yes.
WoW is. And so
Love
definitely
you.
thank you for checking out Steph and Cat Talk WoW. You can follow me in most social medias in Cat You Trust. The E is a 3 on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, and Twitter. And follow Stephanie at the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Again, thank you so much, Kandi Krush. Can't wait to see what else you got coming for us this season. I'm waiting slightly impatiently, but definitely can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I always appreciate you. The whole roster appreciates you. Thank you for always being in our corner and having WoW's back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Bye, guys.